Good morning, everyone. Welcome to twitch.tv/ice-cream-reports. My name is Graham Day. Welcome in. Do you know what? I said yesterday I'm not going to check the audio. And I'm not. Is it working? Is it broken? Is it broken? Do we sound okay? If you're in the chat, please feel free to let us know. I'm not going to check the audio. That said, there was a Streamlabs update. So if there's a day when it's going to shit itself, today could be that day. The audio is fine. Hey! Fuck you, but thank you. Good morning. Good morning. Mr. Gary Clark says, good morning. This is the closest to 10 a.m. for a while-ish. It is, actually. It is. If you don't know what that is in reference to, if you're new here, welcome in. Welcome in. My name is Graham. This is Baby and we are Ice Cream Uploads. And in true Ice Creamy fashion, this is The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast. Even if we do say so ourselves. Anyway, we go live each and every single weekday on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads at 10 a.m. Ish. 10 a.m. ish. It's now 10:39, which is the earliest we've been live for a while. So there you go. And part of the reason for that is because of Gary Clark, to be fair. I was just chatting with our lovely people at Gamers Apparel regarding getting your shirt finalised this morning. And it's not been finalised yet because there's issues with the site which they're looking into, so they're going to come back to me after that. But anyway, so yeah, the reason I'm up and ready and early and everything on my day off is because I was trying to sort out Gary's shirt, so there you go. If you wonder where Gary got a shirt from, or what shirt we're talking about in general, let me show you this. So this is the Ice Cream Uploads Esports jersey from, as you can probably see from the label just there, Gamers Apparel. Hey. So Gary won that in last month's loot drop giveaway. No, this month's loot drop giveaway. Actually, ! Loot drop in the chat will give you a little bit more information on that. Basically, our subscribers support our channel by subscribing. That obviously puts revenue into the channel, which allows us to put money into giving things back to you as a thank you for the support that you guys give. So, yes, ! Loot drop if you want any more information on that. If you're a sub, make sure that you're in the loot drop because you're missing out on a free prize potentially every month if you're not in. Okay, breathing over. Yes, anyway, what we're here for? Baby's having a nice big swig then and a wave of the hand. There we go. Say umbrella, Bib. No, you finished it. No.
At least I'm not waterboarding myself, mate.
Yeah, before we went live, I finished off my brew, as you do. Nice, job's good. But I was in that situation. You know, when you're just having a drink and you think, I can finish this in one gulp, and then you kind of pour it, and then you get to like maximum capacity in your mouth, and then you're like, oh shit, there's still more left. So I was like, oh, so it ended up like backwashing my brew into my cup, and then having it in 2 gulps. So there you go. Anyway, that's enough about that. We're here to give you our thoughts and impressions on the biggest, the best, and the breaking stories of the world of video games, and we want your thoughts and impressions too. So if you are with us live on Twitch, please feel free to get involved in the chat. As mentioned, we do go live at 10 a.m. ish every weekday on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads with the live stream. But we turn that live stream into a podcast, a video on YouTube, and an audio podcast on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Google Play. So if you're in the chat, please feel free to let us know. Use your voice on behalf of everyone else watching and listening on demand a little bit later on. Before we jump into things, just a quick reminder, I've mentioned it already, ! Loot drop. That will give you information on how you could bag yourself a prize for free, potentially, if you're a Prime user every month. Every subscriber, be that a tier 1, 2, or 3, or a Prime subscriber, gets entered into the loot drop, providing they're in the Discord. ! Loot drop, as Gary's already done, we'll give you the information on that. As well as that, seeing as I'm rocking the merch, ! Insert coin. Yes, this is the Streets of Rage insert coin tee. If you want to bag yourself 20% off, should I say, from Insert Coin clothing, then ! Insert Coin in the chat will give you the deets on that. And finally, ! Elgato. Just a shout out to the lovely people at Elgato. We've been teasing it for a week or so now. We have new arrivals from Elgato. There's a box behind me with a couple of Wave 3 microphones in there. As well as that, we have another delivery expected ETA today sometime. So we may be able to start sharing our new Elgato stuff with you a little bit more formally as time goes on. So there you go. Nice. Anyway.
Yeah.
Mr. Golfman Bib.
Yes.
How's things in the world of Fee Golf?
I'm in absolute agony. Who'd have thought that swinging what looks to be like half a real life golf club would put you in bits? But I don't know whether or not it's because I've been playing it straight for 4 days, or I just slept a little bit funny last night, but my back is in absolute agony today. So I'll probably give it a day off, which isn't bad really, because I can't remember the last time I actually played 4 days of golf. I'm playing more downstairs than I would do if I was walking around a golf course, because you do 18 holes and then you're fucked. However, I'm playing like 48 holes. I mean, there's less walking obviously, but the motion of swinging something is still there. So yeah, I'm in kind of a little bit of agony today. So I will be going live after this again. It was going to be with Fee Golf, but I will leave that for tomorrow. I will still be playing golf, so PGA Tour 2K21 will be going live today.
So yeah, Bibby did mention that he will be swinging, although digitally today, not physically today. There you go, nice.
Swingers with his head because we're edgy.
For sure. And a 1 instead of a 9. No, okay, that's number plate territory. God damn it, too far. Anyway, welcome in if you're in the chat. I'm going to run through and see who's here with us. Pirates, good morning. Thank you very much for the host as well. 5 minutes ago. I love you very much. Much appreciated. As mentioned always, even if you're just here lurking and not working, or whatever it is, maybe you are working and not lurking. Either way, the fact that you're lurking does help the channel. If you're in the chat, that helps as well. It helps with the conversation and the content. And anyone that can drop hosts does help with the spread the spread of the content. It also helps with the speech. Says Sean Connery. Anyway, Mr. Gary Clark is here. We have Pip Achilles. Hey, welcome in, dude. Ads is here. Ads. Gary's here. Obviously, we know that. Gagad. Good morning, gents. Welcome in. Cheers for the update, G. No worries. We will get you the top soon. I mean, the production time is kind of long anyway, because everything is made from scratch. Obviously, they are, I can't remember the phrase, dye sublimation printing or something like that. All of the tops, so they're all dye sub printed on demand, but obviously COVID and the fact that we're getting it through our account and stuff just makes it a little bit longer, but we will get you hooked up in your fresh ICU drip very, very soon. Pirate dropping the exclamation mark insert coin. Thanks, laugh. Mr. T, Wagwan. Enix is here. I'll read. Garlic Clark is in the chat. Yay! Precision TV says, well, that's my day ruined. How do you mean? What do you mean? Whilst Precision is here as well. Exclamation mark OP3. Okay, bosh. So there you go. For those watching the video, I've set up a command, so if you type exclamation mark OP3, then it does the precision chant, but in text format, spread out over 4 messages. That's not going to be spammy as hell in the chat at all. Madge, good morning. Thank you very much for the host. Welcome in, dude. Asim says, garlic. Vern's here as well. Up the ICU, say up the ICU. Oh, baby swinging. Well, yeah.
That for all of 2 games on Sunday.
Yeah, just as we get absolutely trashed from fish and chips. Yeah. Do you know what?
16-0. No, 16-1. We've got to give ourselves a chance.
The worst thing I can see happening though is I can see it almost being 1 game. Is it best of 3? Is that the format? Is that why we guaranteed at least 2, Vern?
No, it's a home and away tie.
Ah, is that what it is? Okay. Well, what I can see happening is it being that bad that the second match is pretty much like what the basketball team that just take the piss, what they call Harlem Globetrotters. The first match,
yeah.
So the first match is going to be competitive. The second match is going to be Harlem Globetrotters, fish and chips, just taking the piss because stop, they're already dead.
Yeah. Rainbow flick, double touches, the lot.
Absolutely. It's Wilson. I don't know how to say that. Yes, Yorkshire gang. Hey, whereabouts in Yorkshire are we talking? Because you know there's some good parts and there's some not so good parts that we'd like to know.
Grace from the not so good parts.
Yeah, that's pretty true. Pretty true.
Accurate.
East, see, West. That's where you wanted. West Yorkshire.
East side is the best.
Desfield. Anyway, before we go stumbling down those rabbit holes, we are here to talk about video games. That's what we do. If you don't know what the scoop is, that's pretty much it. We talk about video games. We run through the biggest, the best, and the breaking stories. Throwing Yorkshire pudding gang signs. To be fair, if there's a gang sign that you can throw, Yorkshire pudding is probably the best. I'd happily throw those bad boys around. So yeah, we're going to talk about video games. Nice. if you saw what we were doing to people yesterday, I kept telling Fish they had families, but we didn't hold back. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. We can take it. This is where it's got to be like me and Bib, just like casual stream. Yeah, Sunday night stream. We're just in the Battle of the Cyborgs. On I can see wild face behind Bib. Wave, everyone turn and wave behind Bib. Samantha, give us a wave. Samantha, give us a wave. Oh
no. I was like, what? Is there a ghost behind me or something? It's like getting a bit scared then. There's a face behind you.
Yeah, it's Sonic just there on the shelf.
Yeah, he's back from the dead.
Anyway, let's jump into some news. Just before we do, I'm a West Day. I just had to move here for school reasons. Oh well, we'll let you off. We'll let you off. I'd throw them right into my mouth. That's it's Yorkshire puddings he's talking about. Then calm down. Anyway, let's jump into some news. As mentioned, we do have some tasty stories today, which tends to be the case. February time, the news starts to unravel, and there should potentially be some decent news today. If you're a Nintendo fan, then this will interest you very, very much, as Andy Robinson at VGC has the scoop. Well, we have the scoop. He has the story. Confirmed, Nintendo will hold its first full direct in nearly 18 months this week. Platform holder to share 50 minutes of news on existing and upcoming Switch games. And ads is in the chat, Craig has him in like a mofo. So Nintendo will hold its first full Nintendo Direct broadcast in nearly 18 months this week, it's announced. On Wednesday, 17th of February at 10 p.m. GMT, that's today, in just under 11 hours, just under 12 hours, should I say. No, just over 11 hours, there we go. Got there eventually, maths, quick, nice. So tonight at 10 p.m, the platform holder will live stream roughly 50 minutes of information focused on available games. The sex barn is being built, I apologise, you can hear it, it's fine. They will live stream roughly 50 minutes of information focused on available games like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and games coming to the Nintendo Switch in the first half of 2021, it said. Smash Bros. Director Masahiro Sakurai has tweeted that the Direct will feature content related to the series. The new Direct timing is also notable for its proximity to The Legend of Zelda's 35th anniversary, which is this weekend. I'm assuming that's February 21st as opposed to February 21, but no, it's okay. The company's last general Nintendo Direct presentation took place on September the 5th, 2019. That's a long old time. So is that about 15 months since the last Nintendo Direct? Anyway, the long delay for a full Direct has likely been due to the uncertainty. Is it 18 months? Is that what it is? Well, yeah, my maths is on point this morning. Nice. The long delay for a full Direct has likely been due to the uncertainty over release dates during the coronavirus pandemic, with Nintendo traditionally preferring to announce titles in close proximity to when they're planned to come out. Although the platform holder's full Direct presentations are now less frequent than when the initiative started in 2011, the Direct format has evolved with the addition of smaller presentations focused on indie games, individual franchises such as Pokemon Smash Bros. DLC, and the Super Nintendo World theme park. Recently, the company has aired a series of partner directs with presentations focused on games from third-party developers. Gamer Network's head of games, B2B Christopher Dring, told VGC last year that Nintendo doesn't typically like to announce games too far from release. Quotes, they like to show its fans stuff that they'll be able to get their hands on, typically within the next 6 months, he said. In a year where their teams and projects have been hampered by COVID-19, it makes sense for Nintendo to hold off until they can deliver a Direct with a strong slate of exciting games. If they had dropped a Direct for Pikmin 3 or Paper Mario, great games as they are, the response will inevitably have been disappointing. So announcing those via a press release made sense. He added, Nintendo's big teams have been working on games for a while now. They have games coming and they will be exciting when they can finally be revealed. It's frustrating right now for Nintendo fans, but hopefully we won't have to wait much longer. Currently, Nintendo has just one first-party game announced beyond this month, Pokemon Snap, which was fully revealed via a surprise social media drop last month. Release dates of Bayonetta 3, Metroid Prime 4, and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 haven't been announced. In June 2020, Nintendo's president Shuntaro Furukawa reaffirmed Nintendo's commitment to the Direct model, telling investors that he believed the live stream presentations were still an effective means of communication. I mean, they could be today 50 minutes of content. I believe, is that the longest direct there has ever been? Because I know that the Nintendo Directs, the minis that we've been having, are they about 25, 30 minutes? But usually they're about 40 to 45 minutes for a full direct. Is 50 the longest ever? If it is,
it must be close.
Is that a signifier that this is a spicy direct? What are your thoughts, babe?
No. It's going to be 49 minutes of Smash DLC characters and 1 minute of Tetris 99. Yeah, inevitably always is. But no, I'm not going in with any kind of expectations on this. I'm here for the show. I don't know whether or not, when is it? What's the date?
I'm going to hit mute on my mic for now, so I may forget to put it back on, just so that you don't have to hear the noise in the background. But yeah, continue it.
Yeah. So this is today, apparently, February 17th. So this is 10 p.m. tonight. So I'm going to be tuning in to watch this. I'm excited to see what's on offer. I do feel like we're going to be getting, hopefully, something to do with maybe Zelda. It seems like it's been a while since we've heard anything from that. Yeah, I'm excited. I don't think we're going to see anything from a Switch Pro perspective. I know we keep on saying this. But I don't think that we're going to see anything from that. I do think that we're going to see something, as it says in here, from the Nintendo theme park and see what that looks like as it's officially opened now. But yeah, I'm not going in with any kind of expectations. I just want to. Sometimes it's nice to go in with nothing and then come out with something. And I think Nintendo is one of them kind of game shows where I can do that. I'm not expecting the entire world. But it's nice to be either live tweeting it or whatever it may be and seeing everyone else get hyped at the same time. But yeah, I think the Nintendo ones is probably ones that I could get a lot more excited about purely because I don't have any expectations. So everything feels like a bonus in that respect.
And the mic's unmuted. Nice. Okay. What do you guys think? What do you think will be in this show? Is the fact that it's a full direct, should we be excited? Should we be expecting something of substance? Obviously, Enix in the chat with the bit that we probably feel will be the least unlikely. He says the Switch Pro, which is obviously Switch Pro. I mean, I don't expect to see a Switch Pro. That said, I wouldn't be surprised if we sat here tomorrow morning discussing the fact that Nintendo have just announced the Switch Pro.
I'll be putting mine up for sale straight away if that's the case.
I mean, I don't expect one. I wouldn't be surprised if there was, though. Because the reason I don't expect is Nintendo have just come out and said that there won't be any announcements on any Switch Pro releases anytime soon. But soon is a malleable word. You can bend that into whatever you mean. Which we've said before, Nintendo have done that in the past. Nope, there is absolutely nothing coming for the foreseeable. In their mind, foreseeable is 2 weeks, and then after that, it all changes as something comes out. Oh, shit, okay. So the Switch Pro could happen. I still don't think it will. I think maybe end of the year. I mean, I could be wrong. I think it is probably more likely the fact that we had Breath of the Wild 2. What was it? Was it E3 2019 or 2018 or something like that? When Breath of the Wild 2 had a was it a teaser image or an end slate? I can't quite remember.
I think it was last year. It couldn't have been 2018 because the game would have only been out 2 years, a year if that.
Well, it came out on Wii U though, didn't it? So it'd been out a while before that. That's where it won all its accolades and stuff on the Wii U. But either way, even then, it's still quite a long time since we've seen something. So, I mean, it could be more of that, especially with the 35-year anniversary. I mean, how long have Nintendo been shouting about Mario's 35-year anniversary? That was pretty... It's like he had more birthdays than the Queen in that 1 year. The Queen has 2. Mario had about 6. Sex band being built.
Yeah, you can only pick up, I think it's Mario the 3... Is it? The trilogy, the Mario trilogy. I can't remember. It's the most recent one that's come out. You can only pick it up until next month anyway. So if you wanted to buy it now, because after next month it's kind of gone. I think it was March. It said it was a different day, wasn't it?
Yeah. Which I still heavily against that. The idea that all right, limited run of physical games, fair enough, but digital games, you're just forcing people's hands. It's pushing that impulse purchase, that FOMO element. Oh, if you don't get it, you're missing out. I'd rather miss out, but the downside of that is I kind of want a community to miss out, as in everyone to not buy it so they don't do that decision again. But that's like wanting people to not all go out and buy PS5s from scalpers. It still happens.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Jumping into the chat. It's Millie Wilson says, I've got to go now. I'm late for... Oh, it's gone. Wrong. I'm late for my stream. Well, enjoy the stream. You're probably gone now, but enjoy the stream. Thank you for being here. Will be interesting to see. Think they will show the Switch Pro. Bound to happen with the amount of limited edition Switches they're bringing out. Says Enix. And then contrary to that, Gary says it would be bad marketing if they announced the Switch Pro due to the fact that the Mario Switch has just launched last week. They wouldn't want to take the focus away from that. I mean, the thing is, like with the Mario Switch, I agree. You kind of don't want to step on one SKU. If you just release the new product, it's kind of bad form to release the next one whilst you're still in that product's life cycle. You're taking the gloss off it straight away, especially if it's one that supersedes it. Because the Mario Switch doesn't offer you anything different functionally. It's just a lick of paint. Whereas a Switch Pro is superior. It's got better battery potentially, better screen potentially, better graphics potentially, faster loading times potentially. We don't know, obviously. So yeah, that would be an odd decision. That said, something like the Mario Switch, they're probably thinking, well, we just get guaranteed sell-through on our limited edition versions anyway, so we could just throw that out, sell it all, and still release the Switch Pro. I mean, Nintendo do have so much demand for their consoles that, I could see that being a thing too. I could see that definitely being a thing too. Let's jump back into the comments though. Sorry, what were you saying?
I've just seen Asta's comment saying they literally said on the thumbnail, focuses Smash Brothers and games coming in the first half, and a game coming to the first half of 2021. So yeah, I'd expect that. That said, internet will make up its own rumours. As I said as a joke beforehand, it'll be 49 minutes of DLC Smash characters and then 1 minute of like Tetris 99. I do think there will be a heavy focus on obviously Smash Brothers because that is a game that's still going now and it's got a massive community behind it, and they're obviously making a lot of money from season passes and stuff like that. But I can't see a 40-minute one, a 50-minute Nintendo Direct just being about Smash and one other game. There will be littering stuff in there. I think that's kind of setting expectations. I can't see it just being them two, at least them two things. I reckon we'll see at least 5 things, whether or not the focus will be 2 minutes on one thing, 2 minutes on another, 25 minutes on Smash Brothers, 10 minutes on the new game, and then just some news coming for whatever's coming on the SNES or NES emulator, whatever it's called. I do actually use it quite often. Me and Samantha was playing Super Mario World. I sent you a picture, didn't I? Me and Samantha was playing Super Mario World on the... I don't even know what it's called. Like the SNES catalog, shall we call it, for the sake of this. New games coming to that and the NES one. But yeah, I can't... They will be showing other stuff. I can't see... 50 minutes is a long time to just be talking about Smash.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, though. Because there's tempering expectations. Either Nintendo don't have much new to announce, and they're talking about things that we kind of... If it's purely based on Smash... Smash has a massive following. It definitely does. But Nintendo are already testing people's patience when it comes to that, because not the entirety of the Switch community is the Smash fan base. There's a large number of people that play Smash, but a large number of people that don't. And the fact that Smash has been the lion's share of the content that they've been sharing recently, it's memed to the level of Craig from Xbox in terms of, oh great, yes, more Smash updates, who's going to be in it now? And it's kind of that banter crossover. So I definitely think we will see Smash updates, and I definitely think we will see probably new content for, obviously, are we expecting some Pokemon stuff in there? Potentially. I mean, if not Snap, maybe other things. Snap's been confirmed, so we could see that. Isn't the Pokemon 25th anniversary? You are?
So we need Pokemon Stadium.
Oh, okay. Isn't it like 25th anniversary of Pokemon this year as well? So that could be in there. Plus 35 years of Legend of Zelda. So I think they are probably tempering expectations, but it's the first full direct, as it says in the title, in nearly 18 months. A year and a half. That's a long old time. So why bring us a full direct and not a mini if that was the case? So I can see there being something that, even though they've tempered expectations, the fact that they've gone with their first full direct in nearly 18 months, why now? If there's nothing of substance, I kind of feel like they have to come out and flat out say there will be nothing of major substance. I know that's kind of like a kibosh in your own marketing statement, but if not, I feel like it's almost the same way that Xbox came out last summer and said, we are literally going to be changing the game with our game showcase of all the gameplay, and then it wasn't really that. Not that Nintendo have come out and said that themselves, but the fact that it's the full direct, it carries weight. So if there isn't something of significance, even if it's a tease at the end, then I feel like they've not managed expectations well enough. The fact that we're all sat here talking this in this format now, this article talks about what could potentially be included in it, and it mentioned the fact that it's in proximity to Legend of Zelda's 35th anniversary. Plus all the other bits that you mentioned. I'm trying to find it. I'm scrolling. I'm going to... So Bayonetta 3, Metro Prime 4, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 haven't been announced. So these are all things that people are now starting to talk about. It's natural for people to talk around something like that when you give them a taster. So if we don't have at least one of those or something of that size included, then I feel like it's kind of mismanagement of information from Nintendo's point. Sometimes saying nothing can be just as lethal as saying too much. And that could be the case here. Jumping back up. Where was it gone? So, Tito says, announcing games 8 years before release is bad? CD Projekt Red should take note. I mean, both are amazing. Announce it now and get it now is an amazing marketing thing. I mean, how many times have we seen it? Apex Legends was, fucking hell, this amazing game's here now that I've never even heard of it, and I can get it. Boom. Apex Legends takeover. PT. Hideo Kojima's on stage at Gamescom and goes, oh, by the way, this game that you'd never even heard of, it's there and you can play it right now. Boom. Boom. Massive explosion. So having no backlift, so to speak, is huge. But also having a huge backlift gives you the momentum that CD Projekt Red had. I think the shame for me is that CD Projekt Red fumbled the ball in that analogy. If they'd have had a solid launch, that would have been the perfect case study of how to elongate your marketing campaign and then get bang for your buck at the end of it. They just fumbled, which was a shame.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do agree that people are going to get pissy if they don't see something that they actually want to see, because that's just the internet in general. People get pissed off at the strangest of the things, which is mostly when it comes to conferences like this. I tend not to. I love seeing what's coming. I know 9 times out of 10 the thing that I probably want to see, I'm probably not going to see, or if I do, it's like a 10-second trailer or something like that. Setting expectations before you go into any kind of conference, regardless of whether or not it's digital or a physical conference, is always the best thing to do. But the internet will be the internet. Like, if they don't see something that they want to do, it's easy for someone to get a bit pissy behind a fucking keyboard, isn't it? We've all seen it, we've all experienced it. So yeah, it's you can't. Video gaming and anything, regardless if it's football and it's transfer deadline day and you don't get the player that you want, people will be pissed off and you can't please everybody ultimately.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
it's just we get what we get. You can't really, but you could be. I mean, you could be disappointed, but what's the point in trying to vent that disappointment because you've not got what you wanted? I mean, what you could be wanting is absolutely ludicrous. But yeah, it is what it is. You can't please everybody. And regardless of it could be the best 50-minute conference that you've ever seen. 1 million games get announced, and there'll be one person that said that you're not making a remake of Metro or something like that. I don't know. Metroid, not Metro.
I was going to say there is a remake of Metro coming, by the way.
Yeah,
that's not
an hour. Metroid. You're not remaking Metro.
Metro is getting an enhanced edition. We aren't covering that in the news today, but that's a story that's broken in the last 24 hours. Asim says, I mean, they've literally said what to expect, yet people will be disappointed when they make up stuff in their mind and Nintendo don't deliver on that face palm. I mean, it's understandable. It's absolutely understandable. Nintendo's had so much positivity and praise, and they've benefited from that rumor mill, just like any other brand will do. And the hype train and the conversations going around it. The issue then is that Nintendo's had such a monumental year with hardware sales. The demand and their user base has increased exponentially because of the number of hardware units sold. Was it the best-selling console globally in January of this year, when we've also got the next gen of consoles released? Huge achievements. And then obviously you've got the Animal Crossing stuff over the last year. I do see the point you made. You said something. This is a Japanese company. They are literal to the degree. Basically, they've said this is what it is, but it's not really applicable because they've been literal before and then changed. Their version of literal is malleable. So, like I was saying, the soon, expect nothing anytime soon, and then something comes straight after almost, and it's like, yeah, but it wasn't our version of soon. So it's the clouding around it all. In reality, that could mean that Nintendo said nothing is going to happen. But Nintendo have kind of done that in the past, and they've set people up, and then people have got excited when they didn't expect something. It came out of nowhere. So yeah, but there's precedents for and against both sides of it. Either that it's just going to be another Direct, or it's not, and it's going to be huge. But then why call it a full Direct if it's just going to be a Direct? So people are already starting to second guess Nintendo with that sort of thing. So it's understandable. I completely understand people getting ahead of themselves. I mean, I don't do it. I mean, I'm not a Switch person, so I don't do it with other brands either. I can understand people doing that, but it's the long-term silence from a full Direct perspective. The fact that things have been mini Directs and we've had partner Directs, and it's nice to see that evolve. Like, Switch has become so big over the last 18 to 24 months that, as it mentioned, what the Direct started in 2011, I think it said in the article. In 2011, Nintendo wasn't what it is now. It had been a giant and then turned into a sleeping giant, and it's now back awake again, fully awake. But now it's at the point where Directs, they can have third-party Directs, because in 2011 they didn't have third-party support enough for that. And I think it's the lack of noise from Nintendo within itself, but they're still delivering, they're still hitting, and they're still having strong messaging, great brands, and yeah, it's negatives that come from positive. People want to enjoy the Nintendo experiences, and they are enjoying the Nintendo experiences, but they want to know what Nintendo's version of the Nintendo experience is. And without them having something of major substance since 2019, that's kind of understandable, because obviously 2019 we got the Direct, and then we got Animal Crossing last year, and we've not really had anything since then. So yeah, it's understandable. Sorry, were you going to say something?
No, I didn't say anything.
Okay.
I don't think it anyway.
It's part of the hype. People like to speculate because that's what makes these great, says Enix. That's fine, but then the internet throws hate for stuff they didn't even promise to announce. Yeah, that's Muppets, though. You get that with everything. That's obviously the world over, sadly. People do go, well, you promised this. I was expecting that. Well, I didn't promise it. You just expected it. And you expected it because you took people's discussions. Like, someone might be sat watching this, hear us mention that there could be something to do with Pokemon's 25th anniversary, Legend of Zelda's 35th anniversary, and go, well, that's it. These are all coming. And it's... sadly, there will always be those people that take that and run with that as gospel. That's not the case. Yeah. Nintendo, the Switch is portable. The internet, I bet it isn't. Yeah, there's also those people too.
Yeah.
Just like when PlayStation did its state of play, stating exactly what to expect. Nothing PS5, and internet got disappointed. There was nothing PS5 related. Literally makes no sense. Yeah, I'd say that's a different thing, and different thing there, because PlayStation were doing state of plays which were the exact same format that they'd been doing previously. And then said, just because the last one had PlayStation 5 in doesn't mean that this one will. Whereas this is them going back to a different format. It's still a Direct, but it's a full Direct. And it's the semantics of what does a full Direct carry with it. Why not just do a Direct? If it's nothing of value, why is it not just a Direct? So you can see why people run with it. People clearly need to lower their expectations. Everyone wants the likes of Sony and Nintendo to announce the world in one go. I mean, don't you want that? Don't you want the world? Give me the world. I'll take the world. I predict Smash Brothers news, as they said, Pokemon Snap, some third-party announcements of games coming, and maybe some first-party stuff. But that's the thing. What first-party stuff? That's the intricacies of it, because all the other stuff is kind of predictable, but it's what's the first-party stuff? How far do we go with that? Hashtag cat alert. How far do we go with that? Are we expecting a teaser? Do we see something around, so sticking with Legend of Zelda's 35th, do we see something around that? I mean, Super Mario's 35th anniversary was it about 6-month campaign? Are they going to start that? Could this be the build-up of the Year of Zelda? Or do we start to get more content of Breath of the Wild 2? Could it just be a still teaser? It's what are the intricacies of that? I do believe we will see not something that's going to change the world completely, but I think we will probably be more likely to see a teaser of what will change the world in 6 months' time. If we've gone to a full direct, I think this will be the issuing, the first notes, maybe.
I think there's another side to this, though. I do think that a lot of people may be getting a bit more ahead of themselves, purely because it's been 18 months since we've had a direct like this. We've had a lot of minis. But 18 months between directs and Nintendo when they're talking about their first-party games and stuff like that, that's a long time to not give any information about your groundbreaking console. So I do think that people may get ahead of themselves in terms of that. But I don't want to say you can't blame them, but obviously you can, because they're getting ahead of themselves. But it's a long time, that, let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, we all could. I could be well ahead of myself. They may just show what's already been announced and not go any further. That seems a misstep for me in terms of full Nintendo Direct broadcast, the first one in 18 months, to kind of deliver the same as we have done previously, but a little bit longer. It's the messaging. The messaging of it is a miss. And even if it is a Japanese company and it's the literal element of it, just because that's the way it is doesn't necessarily mean it's the right way, which we know more than most, Mr. T. I have a sweet falling out of my mouth. So, yeah, it's the branding. The whole presentation, before the presentation, the way it's been packaged up, basically PR around it. If they have something, exceptional. If they don't have something, no asked. It doesn't bother me, but it's the hardcore fans that are literally on hanging on every word in that press release. You kind of self-protectionary as a content machine. You'd want to protect yourself from that, and I think that's well, we'll see tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if they have protected themselves. If the stories tomorrow are Nintendo Direct sack of shit, then clearly people weren't happy with it. But if it says tomorrow that Nintendo Direct actually pretty good, or there was a teaser or something, I feel like for it to be a full Direct, why? There needs to be a reason for it for me. If there's a reason, and that could just be a tease. If not, just bring me another Direct, because there's nothing wrong with the Direct format. You've been delivering your news exceptionally over the last 18 months anyway. Consistent updates, DLCs, new releases, Pokemon stuff, third-party stuff. Then, yeah, it's the semantics, the hidden messaging, the reading between the lines that well, it's not a Nintendo thing. It's probably a Japanese gaming thing in general. The packaging of messaging. People jump to conclusions, but they're also fed enough to make them jump to the conclusions. I think it will be Smash Brothers standard, some sort of Breath of the Wild 2 trailer, new Pokemon Snap third-party titles, and maybe some sort of announcement on Mario Kart 9. Ooh, Mario Kart 9. I can't see that.
To be fair, I genuinely can. I mean, it's Mario Kart 8 is still obviously in the charts, but again, like you mentioned with Breath of the Wild for the Nintendo Wii, this was a Wii game that they just moved over to the Switch and then added new stuff to it. That's why it's got the deluxe name. So it wouldn't surprise me if they may have teased like a 30-second teaser of a new Mario Kart. That wouldn't surprise me. I mean, that is pipe dream stuff, but yeah, it would. Again, it wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, I would like to see a Mario Kart 9. and I know it's kind of a self-fulfilling false prophecy sort of area. Mario Kart 8 is one of the biggest selling, if not the biggest selling Switch game of all time. Has Animal Crossing surpassed that? I can't remember. Anyway, but that's because you get it with every Switch. So that's just like, well, there you go. There's another one and another one. So the numbers are kind of falsifying themselves. But whilst it continues to remain ever present in the chart, Nintendo will be, they don't make new games if they can make money off of old ones. So we've been waiting for that Pokemon RPG forever. The third world over the shoulder 3D like exceptional thing. Temtem's the closest we've got, but
that's coming out on PlayStation soon, isn't it?
What, Temtem? I think it might have
sure
already happened. If not, there was something last month or the month before, or I can't remember what it was though, but it may have already happened. But yeah, Nintendo like to churn money. I mean, I would like to see a Mario Kart 9. Mario Kart 8 was is still a really good game. Just Nintendo like that money. Where do we get to? Bibby's cat has to be the ICU mascot. He/she should have their own emotes. You goddamn right.
Well, I've got two of them, and if it was to get one emote of one of them, which is Coco, here, Samantha will be kicking off because Samantha already says that Coco is my favourite. I haven't got a favourite.
He has. He keeps saying it's all that one all the
time. But yeah, I can't have one without the other, so unfortunately that will not be happening.
Nintendo could put literal shit in a box and their fans would still pay 70 quid for it. That's true. That's true. Probably DLC for Pokemon Sword and Shield 2, maybe. I mean, that would be a good shout. They are rip-off merchants, but to be fair, their games are good and fun. I mean, I think that's it though. They like to make money, and they are rip-off merchants, but they also make exceptional experiences. So it's kind of people take the good with the bad in that sort of sense. Some Nintendo experiences are the best bar none, but you also get the chaff with the wheat in that sort of sense. 3D Mario Collection was the first time I really regretted spending the money. Plumerico says, I still use the Wii every now and then. Asim says, oh yes, Nintendo get away with the equivalent of murder compared to PlayStation and Xbox. They do. But like you say, it's one thing they are very good is that keeping alive their brands and their narrative. So the fact that we're still playing and talking about Zelda. Who played Zelda on the NES a million years ago? Me. Who's not played it since? Me. But the fact that, yeah, those games that we keep jumping back into the list, and Mario Kart, who played that on the SNES back in the day? Me. Everyone else as well. So they create good brands, good stories, and keep them alive better than anyone, but peddle a lot of crap alongside it. Does anyone play Super Mario Run? No? Nobody plays it? No?
Temtem is out on PlayStation. It completely passed me by. It came out 2 months ago, the day before my birthday.
Yeah, you were drunk.
I feel like I've been waiting forever for that.
Yeah, I knew it. I thought it came out, but there you go.
That's not annoying at all. I'll be buying that on payday. I'm telling you that. It feels like I've been waiting for it forever, and it just completely passed me by. For fuck's sake!
This is where everyone's now like full on Temtem masters. I don't know if that's what they call it, the equivalent of a Pokemon master, and you're there like Bibby Ketchum stepping out of Pallet Town.
I've just gone to Metacritic and no one's even been reviewing it on there, so that's what. Yeah, I don't understand that, but here we are.
Mr. Gary Clark says, apparently Argos dropped their latest PS5 stock at 3 a.m. Cracking time to drop it, lads. GG's. They've done that the last 2 times. It was 1:40 a.m. I think last time, and then 3 a.m.-ish this time. If anyone is looking to buy from Argos, the best thing to do is add it to your basket on the app, and then as soon as it goes live, you can just check out. But yeah, you have to be up at stupid o'clock. Amazon and everything went live with it yesterday. I have not been around to tell no one because it's my week off, so I was in bed. Missed it all. Nice. Excuse me. Enix says they do it so it doesn't affect their normal users within the day, which is nice for normal users, but it's very anti-consumer again. It's a case of if you want the PS5, then we don't see you as our normal user base, so you have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and there's gonna be no sort of structured queuing system or balloting. It's just everyone jump on at silly o'clock in the morning, first come first serve, and the fact that it's at silly o'clock in the morning means it's more likely to step into the hands of bots and scalpers. You've got to feel, because what normal person's going to be up at 3 o'clock? without making some extreme sacrifices. Okay, I'm going to spend the next day in bits at work because I stayed up till 4 o'clock in the morning buying and making sure I got my confirmation emails and stuff. So it's very anti-consumer. I hate this stuff. And one thing that I would like to see happen, but I'm not very confident that it will, is someone starting the movements that we've kind of seen. Obviously, we've seen some MPs taking it to Parliament in terms of getting restrictions on electrical purchases that mirror what we've had with ticket purchasing. Because electrical purchases and sneakers purchases, I've seen that today. A bunch of people jumped up trying to get the sneakers that I'm assuming it was for the PSG Jordans. I'm not 100% sure if that's what it was. But yeah, what I would like to see coming out of all of that is someone starting some sort of movement that holds retailers accountable, because it's just purely, yeah, we're Argos, we love you, and then when Argos is going under, it's like, the brand, we love that brand, yeah, but the reason Argos has gone under is because the brand's a sack of shit and hates you and just wants your cash and doesn't treat you well as a person. And the same thing with Game, and the same thing with everyone else. So I'd like to see better online content and technology and systems around that. But anyway, that's a different story that I've been ranting about for 2 weeks. I got the Amazon drop yesterday and one from Argos this morning, says Enix. If the site crashes during the day, they'll lose a shit ton of money, so they just drop at 1 a.m. But that's it. That's what it's about. You've said it yourself. They lose a shit ton of money. They can change that without losing a shit ton of money, but they don't care because they're already earning a shit ton of money. Why change something? Why rock the boat? But that shows you that understandably, it's a business. They want to make money. They need to make money to survive. But if you're not looking after your consumers, every day the world steps towards a more consumer-focused environment. Not employers, retailers and brands now have to be more consumer-considerate than they did 50 years ago, because that's what the world expects. And if these brands don't move forward, then someone will, and they'll all have to play catch-up, or they will just go out of business. Morrison's is a good example. They thought, I'm not going to bother with online. What's the point in that? We earn enough money just in store. Morrison's last year, shit profits, almost went under, had to change to an online environment so they can start to get consumers back, because they didn't move with the times and tried to create ways to look after their consumers a little bit better. They are earning a shit ton of money, but that's all their focus is. It's not enough on the consumers.
I mean, that's the beauty of a Nintendo product, though. You know exactly what you're getting, and it always tends to hold its value. Like, you still can't pick up Breath of the Wild unless you're buying it second hand off from someone on Facebook Marketplace. If you was to go into a shop and try and buy it, you're probably still looking at £40 to £45 for that game. Like, they just don't seem to bring new games out all the time, so they seem to hold the value. But they always seem to make really, really good games that always hold the value. It's not like a yearly cycled game like Call of Duty or any kind of sports game. It's like these games plummet in price as soon as a new one comes out. There's no new Zelda coming out, so you can still pay full whack for Breath of the Wild. I mean, to be fair, Mario games come out 3 or 4 times a year, but they always seem to hold the value. You can still Mario Odyssey is probably like 3 or 4 games ago, and it's still £45 to go pick up from the store. It's mental.
Do you know what? I'm going to just cut you off completely there and point out an absolute logic bomb that has just been dropped in the chat by Mr. Gary Clark. I bet they don't do a 3 a.m. drop for the new Breville Toaster 2021 range.
That's a shame.
Although I think you'll find that the Breville Toaster range actually comes out in the second week of January, so it's already been there and dropped anyway. So there you go. Actually, I would love a new Breville Toaster, by the way. Breville, if you're watching, hook your boy up. Yeah. No, that's it though. It's like the Breville Toaster range. It's okay. Well, it's not going to break our website, and we're going to keep making the money, so it's fine. If every item went on at 3 a.m., fair enough. But they're just putting them on at 3 a.m. because that suits them, not the consumers. The Breville Toaster goes on because it at whatever time, because it suits them and not the consumers, and that's the harsh reality. It's a very good example, but yeah. One day maybe we'll get to the point where someone has defined a foolproof system that does allow people to go on and put their name in the hat, or pre-order in advance, or whatever it is, so that people can go on and get what they want, not have someone else checking out with 50 different consoles. Enix saying, saw some people not sleeping for 2 days trying to get a drop, but to be honest, they know people will buy it ASAP. A Nintendo 64 VC, is that Virtual Console would be cool and add more value because the fact Nintendo charge for that Sulphur Precinct special of an online service is absolutely shocking. They give you zero value. Oh, okay. So Nintendo's online service is shit. Nice. Good morning, LaRoche. Morning again, lads. Fancy seeing you here. Good morning. I'll read. A gaming machine with an inbuilt Breville toaster. It's the future. Well, we've got the KFC console, so why not? That's arguably a bit more difficult. Anyway, let's jump ahead. We have been talking about the Nintendo stuff for a while. We're not going to go too far. This, as I say, it doesn't go too far. Reggie Fils-Aime says, I think that's how it's pronounced. If it isn't, then that's how I'm going to keep saying it. So there you go. Reggie Fils-Aime says the console wars are a lot more friendly at the executive level. This is written by Sean Murray at The Gamer, and the tagline says, things aren't nearly as heated amongst video game industry executives as the whole console wars would lead you to believe. Imagine that. Imagine companies actually being decent with each other and not just sat there being...
No way.
Well, no, I mean, wow, impressive. Anyway, retirement is treating Reggie Fils-Aime pretty well. He's long since ascended to meme status while working as president of Nintendo America, and now he's got all the free time to do a bunch of stuff he never had the chance to do as a busy executive. Like present at last year's The Game Awards or do an interview at the New York Gaming Awards. Recently, Reggie did an interview for Gamertag Radio's 16th anniversary with host Danny Pena. They talked about a wide range of topics from growing up in Queens to becoming Nintendo's big cheese in the West. He also talked about the console wars and how things are very different for industry executives. Around 15 minutes into the interview, Pena notes how he loved Reggie's appearance with rivals from Microsoft and Sony at various gaming conventions in the past and wondered what Reggie thought of that image in contrast with the idea of the console wars. Quote, for as big as the industry is, for executives in the business, we all know each other, Reggie said, explaining that everyone from Nintendo, Sony and Microsoft all have quarterly meetings as members of the Entertainment Software Association. That's the industry organisation that lobbies Washington whenever there's a new video game law and also helps organise E3. Sorry, I just got a bit of ESA bullshit in my throat. As executives, we meet quarterly to talk about what's good for the industry. As executives, we share a meal. As executives, we may have the need to be on a phone call with each other talking about industry-related issues, he continued. So while fans see the, air quotes, console wars, the battle, look, make no mistake, every single executive wants to win. Every single executive wants to drive their business. But the fact of the matter is, it's a very small industry. Specifically referencing his appearance with Xbox head Phil Spencer. I love this article. It says Xbox head, not Xbox boss. There we go. Specifically referencing his appearance with Xbox head Phil Spencer and PlayStation head Sean Layden at the 2018 Game Awards, Reggie said he hoped to see similar events in the future. Quote, I wish there were more public opportunities to show the unity of the industry. The console wars might be coming to a close. Crossplay and inter-platform collaboration is becoming the new normal, with games like Fortnite and Super Smash Bros. Bringing characters from across gaming together. And you know what? That's okay in my book. Says Sean Murray and says Graham Day. That's okay in my book too. Baby, console wars aren't fought by executives, but apparently just by weapons on social media. What are your thoughts?
This should not be a surprise to anybody, but it will be. People will probably be setting Reddits on fire with this news because their boss and leader of their chosen platform isn't throwing stuff across the stage or in a canteen at the enemy in air quotes. This shouldn't be a surprise. They are probably all friends. They will hold stuff back, and they will. They said that they have calls with each other quite frequently. I don't, obviously, but obviously they will still be holding stuff back from each other. Like if they're going to be announcing something, whether or not it be a new console, a new game, or something like that, they're obviously not going to tell the competitors that because that kind of fuels their sales for the remainder of the year or for the end of time. If it's a Mario or Zelda game. But this should not be new news. Like anyone who's been around the industry for long enough, who isn't just new news.
New news.
This should not be news to anyone. It's welcomed news, and I like the fact that. Well, to be fair, he could have said this stuff 4 years ago before he retired, because that would have probably eased a lot of people's flames. But yeah, I mean, now we're getting someone from the inside as high profile as Reggie is coming out and saying stuff like this. Hopefully, it will taper people's fury at the other side, regardless of what side it is that you're currently sitting on. But again, I said it about 6 times now. This should not be new news to people. The only people that create fanboys is fanboys, and the console wars will always be a thing. I love the fact that there is a console war in terms of you pick red, green, or blue. That seems to be, and then obviously PC Master Race, which towers over every single one of them. But it is always nice to obviously have a team. That's why we have football teams, because you support someone. That's why we have sports teams, because you support someone, and you always claim that they're better than the other team, even though in reality you probably not. But yeah, it's nice to have a little bit of.
That's spoken like a proper City fan, mate. We're better than the other team, but in reality, probably not.
We are better than the rest of them. You know what I mean? We're going for 5 Premier Leagues.
But mate, I've got other reasons that suit my agenda, mate, which are more important. Which is how the console war happens. There you go. That's how it works.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like that we have got console wars. I think it does separate. It does separate us, because some people are heavily into portable gaming, and that's absolutely fine. Some people are heavily into PC games. That's absolutely fine. A lot of people are into console gaming. Again, that is absolutely fine. You're allowed to like more than one platform just because you support one. I feel like, obviously, we've talked about this a billion times. I'm kind of stuck into a PlayStation ecosystem now since the digital age, because a lot of digital games I have on my PlayStation, I can't play in any other console. That's why I like having Games Pass on my PC, because it gives me the opportunity to play Xbox games on my PC. But I'm looking to have both of those things. But when you're stuck into an ecosystem, unless you are willing to buy double and be able to play it on those consoles, you're kind of stuck within it. But at this moment in time, Microsoft doesn't really have an exclusive that's worth buying. And that's not me being a fanboy of PlayStation. It's just the general truth. As soon as something is, I'll be able to play it on my PC, so I've got the best of both worlds at this moment in time. But yeah, it's I love the fact that we have got fanboys, but I do think that the whole fanboyism takes it far too far in my eyes.
We have another mic drop in the chat. This time, Mr. T. Competition breeds excellence. Conflict does not. That's my take on this. Absolutely. That's it. That is it. And console wars, that aligning yourself across the RGB market. Are you red of Switch? Are you the green of Xbox or the blue of PlayStation? It doesn't really matter. That's a psychological need. Humans desire the ability for multiple different reasons. The simplest one is sorting. Stereotypes exist because it's a psychological function. It's easier for people to understand things if they're boxed off into little categories. I can make sense of the world if there's only Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch. If you start having to like people are cross genre and then there's different versions, and sometimes you're a Switch on a weekend, but not, then it becomes a bit more difficult. So people like to be sorted, and people like to sort for a psychological function. That's one bit. But then the other bit is just belonging. Sitting and conversing with like-minded people that play the same games, that have the same platforms, that have the same experiences. That's a good thing. But yeah, it's when people get passionate to that, and it exists in everything. You see it with football fandom and hooligans and tits killing each other over the fact that their team of 11 lads kicking a pigskin is more better than someone else's 11. Fuck off. Love football, love video games. Anyone that has that level of... It's pretty much addiction. If you're addicted to something so much that you become negatively affecting yourself and other people over it, then you've gone too far. So yeah, the console wars exist for a minority. Sadly, they're a vocal minority. But they do exist for a minority. That said, as Asim says, a bit of competition, a bit of friendly rivalry is good for banter and that unification prospect. If you have friendly rivalry, your PlayStation buddies and you feel united against the enemy, which is Xbox, and they feel united against you, and so on. That's good, having a little bit of competition, and that helps you build your communities then, and we want to be better than that community. But it's when people start getting the wrong angle. You elevate yourself above the competition. You don't try and drop the competition below you. That's when you're looking at it all wrong, and that's where the console wars are. They're trying to take the feet out of the competition rather than standing up for themselves, and it's like, do your own thing. Make yourself as big and as proud as you can be. Don't worry about shitting on everyone else. You're looking at it the wrong way when you've got it that way. Your whole focus is on negativity rather than the positivity that the games give you.
Just play games, eh?
Yeah, exactly. Jumping back through the chat. To be honest, have you seen the Fanboy Wars recently when the Initiative dev left because his brother died? Loads of Sony fanboys use it as ammo to say why Xbox is shit and Perfect Dark is dead already and won't come close to The Last of Us, etc. Going way too far now. I've blocked so many from both sides now. Feel sorry for devs on both sides. Like The Last of Us 2 delay and fanboys attacked from both sides. Sony fans sending death threats and Xbox fans flinging abuse. Weapons is the simplest way to put it. Weapons. This makes so much sense. Console wars are done because sad little fanboys will do anything to support their purchase. Saddos, says Gary Clark. Brutal. Whoopah. Nintendo and Microsoft seem very close now. I want to see Master Chief in Smash. I think you find it's called Mr. Chief, actually. There you go. So you've got, as I was talking about, the red of Switch, the green of Xbox, and the blue of PlayStation. Gagad is the black of PC. There you go. RGB. RGBB. PlayStation upped their game when Xbox came into the fray. They started to rest on their laurels around PS3. Xbox came in with 360 and smashed it, pushed PlayStation to do what they are now and challenge Xbox. Who wins? We the gamers do. Exactly. Let's give you a horrendous example. War. I mean, if you look at technological advances, the country... the world advanced incredibly in the first half of last century because of world wars, because of the need to get in front of their competition. Obviously, a lot of that was based on death and murder, death, kill. Nice, 2 days in a row. Nice. So a lot of that was based on that, but it infiltrated rest of society afterwards. All of the technological advances, the communication advances and stuff came into society afterwards, and that was a need of competition. Obviously, we're not looking at war. I mean, we can have console wars, but the same, minus the death, the same things still apply. Everyone benefits as a result of competition, as long as it's healthy competition. Like we all made a separate Discord from a major forum we all use because we get attacked for liking Xbox, so we just made our own community where we can just chat without being blasted. You're not allowed to have opinions. I've told you this before. One of the worst fanboys on Twitter is a guy called Kid Smooth. You spelt Enix wrong there, Gary, but we'll continue. I follow him because it's hilarious, as his whole day consists of just trying to justify why Xbox is incredible and PlayStation is shit. The ironic thing is that Xbox don't care if he loves them or not, as all these huge corporations will replace you in a heartbeat for another customer. Asim Tambia follows Kid Smooth. It's the same. Yeah, it's bizarre to see people that are so blinkered that will just be like, that's shit. I've seen some people saying comments this morning. So this morning or last night, Xbox announced that they have their own Xbox headset for the Xbox series of consoles. It's 90 quid, which is very, very similar to... move my muscle moose... Exclamation mark muscle moose in the chat, by the way. My muscle moose flapjack's out of the way. But there we go. The PlayStation Pulse 3D headset. It's a 90 quid headset from PlayStation for their console. Xbox have just done their own headset for their users today. Doesn't look the same, isn't the same thing, doesn't offer 3D audio. It's irrelevant. It's Xbox's thing for Xbox's stuff. And I've seen PlayStation fanboys attacking it. It's ugly as fuck. That mic looks shit hanging off of it. Blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, you've got a PlayStation. Why are you even bothered? Just get over it, you absolute weapon. Anyway, that's enough of that. We still have more news to jump through, so I will put a pin in that one for now. The next one, though, is about looking forward. Let's look to the future. Well, I kind of have to, because it's been delayed, and we actually received an email from this. I don't know whether you saw it in the inbox last night, Bib. But we received this because we are on their creators list. But Amazon's ambitious MMO New World gets third delay, now expected in August. Closed beta coming in July. This is written by Matt Wales at Eurogamer, and it says, Amazon Game Studios' massively multiplayer online title New World has received its third delay, with the game now anticipated to release on the 31st of August, somewhat later than its previously announced launch window of spring this year. Let me just hit play on the official trailer. Muted, though, while I'm reading. New World was initially due to arrive last May, but saw its release pushed back to August 2020 as a result of the coronavirus pandemic. Amazon then opted to delay the game again in July, shifting the launch of both the full game and its final beta into this year. That additional development time has so far, according to Amazon's latest New World development update, resulted in improvements to crafting and combat, as well as increased quest, weapon, and armor variety. Fishing has also been added, the map has been expanded to include the new Requarter region, and work has been done to increase the amount of mid-game and end-game content. Despite all that, Amazon says there's still work to be done, and the studio requires additional development time for polishing, fine-tuning, and to focus on, quote, compelling endgame features we believe are important to include at launch. These features won't be ready for the spring timeframe that we had communicated, it explains in its update. Quote, with that in mind, we will release New World on August 31st, 2021. As a result of all of these changes, New World's closed beta, which was intended to run this spring, will now take place on the 20th of July. Those that pre-order the game will be granted access to the beta and will have the opportunity to experience a new endgame zone known as Ebon Scale Reach, alongside 5-player instanced expeditions and 20 versus 20 outpost rush battles, where teams fight for control of strongholds and strategic resources. A few additional beta details can be found in Amazon's blog post, and for more insight into the troubles plaguing Amazon's early forays into the world of video games, which also saw its hero shooter Crucible cancelled less than 5 months later after launch, it's worth checking out. A recent report from Bloomberg's Jason Schreier. There you go. That's linked at the bottom of Matt Wales's Eurogamer article. But MMO New World from Amazon has been delayed again. Its third delay. It's now not coming until the very end of August. What are your thoughts on that, Bib?
Good. I think having the bollocks to be able to push a game back is a brave move nowadays, because of certain games that are knocking around that didn't do that. Well, they did do that and then released it too early. So I think they're taking that as the precedent now. Don't release your game until you think it's in a suitable condition to be released. They're going to have the final beta come in at some point as well, so we get to see the game in all its glory before the game actually comes out, which is exciting. I did see the email yesterday, which is nice because we never actually got a confirmation to see whether or not we was going to be partnered with them for this, and that kind of confirms that we are, which is nice.
Oh fuck yeah, you guys are partners. Hey.
Well, we filled out the form, and they never got back to us. And then it says, if you get this email, welcome aboard. It's like, nice one, thanks for letting us fucking know. Anyway, yeah, well, we're excited to see obviously where this goes to. This is definitely a big game. I loved watching Shroud play this one. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. One, getting my hands on it, and two, actually see what the game can deliver. I know Jordan, I was in his stream a couple of days ago, and he's just mentioned it in the chat when he was playing Halo, and I mentioned about New World, and he said, yeah, when the PvP got taken out, it kind of took the shine off it a little bit. But for me, as a person who doesn't really do PvP in MMOs, because I don't have the time to be able to grind to get all the new gear to actually make it worthwhile, it's just nice to be able to go through, link up with my mates, and go and take down and do some raids. So having a good narrative in the game hopefully will give this game what it needs for Amazon to actually succeed. This is their biggest release that they're going to be putting out. I think this will either be it's going to make them as a game studio or break them, and they'll never release anything again. I do get the feeling that this is all eggs in one basket, especially after the Crucible stuff. So take as much time as you want. Yeah. They'll still be here waiting to be able to play this game when it comes out.
I agree. I would love to see this be exceptional. One thing I've just seen in the chat, well, I've seen quite a few things actually. If you go back a little bit in the chat, Asim says it will be a new world when this releases eventually, and at the exact same second, Gary Clark typed, it might be a new world by the time it comes out. And then, if you fast forward about 5 seconds afterwards, at the exact same time, Gary and Asim both wrote, haha, at each other's comments. So they are the hive mind. Confirmed. One of us. Gary says, where was the comment? Amazon Game Studios following, oh no, that's Tito. Amazon Game Studios following the same business model as Google Stadia, question mark? And then Gary says, Amazon Game Studios are as bad at packaging up and delivering a game as they are as packaging and delivering a parcel. I beg to differ. Amazon are exceptionally good at packaging and delivering a parcel. So look at this. I ordered one stamp from Amazon. There you go. Okay, that's not an Amazon package. That's actually Elgato. Oh, shout out to Elgato, by the way. Nice. Yeah. Hopefully they are better at delivering games. And I hope it's a success. I genuinely do, because how good would it be to have another company that has the backing of an EA size, or the backing of a Ubisoft size, or something that's actually doing good stuff in the games industry? Tito says, could this be another Stadia? Yeah. I mean, if you look at the history, they've not really done anything with video games. Crucible was horrendous. This looks like it could be it looks like it could have something. Look at Valheim. I mean, obviously they're very different games potentially, but similar sort of aesthetic, that vibe that's working very well. They're not just copying Valheim; they've been doing this long before Valheim hit the radar. So I hope it's good. I hope it works for them. It's not a me game. If it's streamed on Ice Cream Uploads, it's Bibby that's going to be playing it. So there you go. Nice. So I hope it's a success. I genuinely do. I would like to see a company with Amazon's might doing bits in the games industry. I'd like to see that. The fact they removed WPVP ruined the whole hype of this game. Amazon, and I've read that bit. TV box for 2 games, says Enix. There you go. Yeah, exactly. El Gato sells stamps, says Gagad. Maybe. Not exclusive. No. Yeah. Crucible? They used to be into snooker? Yes, they did. They're big Sheffield base in the Amazon Game Studios. So there you go. Speaking of Stadia, we don't have it in the news today, but did anyone see the story yesterday about... obviously, we covered it last week that Amazon... is it SG... no, Stadia's SG&E, Stadia Game and whatever, their development team, their in-house development team were... basically disbanded and let go. Did you see the news that the week before they actually had an email sent around from the head of Stadia basically going to all the devs, you guys are smashing it, we're on target, we're doing really well, and then literally 5 days later they found out from reading on Kotaku that they'd all lost their jobs. Fucking assholes. And the worst thing is they
don't know what they're doing.
They had a Q&A yesterday or the day before and oh no, well, maybe it wasn't the day before. They had a Q&A following that news anyway, and apparently they were saying, so why did we get an email 5 days before we were told that we're losing jobs, telling us that we're doing well, we're on target? What changed in that time? And they basically said, nothing. We actually knew that we were going to fire you all at that time. So why would you send that email? So yeah, Google Stadia do not know how to do anything when it comes to video games. And it's shown, sadly. Hopefully, though, Amazon don't have anything like that. Crucible was a well-made game, just badly marketed and badly put together. No real narrative that you could understand unless you invested 1 million years understanding all of their reasoning for it. Hopefully New World doesn't suffer from that, and hopefully it's something that Bibby can buy 27 copies of that just like he does with Skyrim. So we'll see. We'll see. Enix says, RIP Crucible, that lovely 2 weeks it lasted. But was it lovely, though? I literally watched it for about 30 seconds on Choco Taco's stream and didn't understand it and turned it off. It just did not catch my attention at all. It's not fully confirmed. Nobody can find a source of him saying that it shut SGS because of Xbox buying Bethesda, etc. So they decided to just pay for exclusives, etc. Seems it was one of the reasons they shut down their own studios because of competition from Microsoft. Don't know how you can compare tens of millions of Game Pass users to 5 Stadia users competitors. Well, there you go. I mean, it does tie into the news that last year, Xbox were trying to distance themselves from PlayStation because that's a fight that they were always going to lose, and said that their competitors were Amazon and Google instead. Well, they've already killed one if that's the case, so Amazon next. Xbox is coming for you. Anyway, one final news story. Let's jump into this so we can get things wrapped up. I appreciate you all sticking around for 1 hour and 22 minutes. Appreciate it all being here. It does mean a lot. But we'll let you go. Actually, I said we'll let you go. You're not going to go far. You're going to come back pretty soon and watch Bibby play some PGA 2K. But before that, we'll carry on talking about games that Bibby enjoys. As Resident Evil Revelations 3 out within a year of Village's release, according to Insider. I say that. I know Bibby enjoys Resident Evil. I don't know how he feels about Revelations. So, Sherif Saed at VG247 says a new Resident Evil Revelations is not too far off, according to reports. Quick finger in the wind, Bib. Revelations, yes or no? That's thumbs up, by the way. You can't see it.
Thumbs up.
Nice. Okay, Resident Evil Revelation, particularly the sequel, was always considered among the series' best offshoots. According to new information from insiders, fans of Revelations will be getting a new game in the near future. Let's hit play on the video, just to give you some moving imagery whilst I'm reading. Dusk Golem, a Capcom insider with a good track record when it comes to Resident Evil in particular, has revealed on Twitter that the publisher has been working on a third Resident Evil Revelations for nearly 4 years, and that is a drill in the background. I've absolutely not been eating beans this morning. That's a drill. It's definitely good. According to them, the game will be released within a year from the upcoming Resident Evil Village, meaning later this year or early next year. Capcom understandably doesn't want to take the spotlight away from Village, so it won't be talking about it until that game is out. That said, Revelations 3 will likely be revealed sometime this year. Dusk Golem points out, however, that it may not actually be called Resident Evil Revelations 3. The game is known internally as Resident Evil Outrage and said to have a big budget on the level of Village, which could be why Capcom doesn't want to associate it with Revelations. Dusk Golem also suggested that when it releases, the game will be exclusive to Switch for a period of time before arriving on other platforms. As for what to expect, they said it's on the same level of Code Veronica. Although Dusk Golem's leaks have proven to be fairly on point in the past, it's best to take all unconfirmed rumours with a grain of salt for now. Oh, there we go. By the way, if anyone ever features an article that has Dusk Golem or any of the other noted industry leakers like Tassimanvia, if it doesn't say grain of salt or pinch of salt or mountain of salt or anything like that, then it's a fake article. Because if it has to, it's literally legal now. There you go. So yeah, it's worth noting, though the game does not appear in Capcom's recent major leak, it could be one of the projects referred to by their codenames. So, Resident Evil Revelations 3, aka Resident Evil Outrage, potentially coming within a year of the release of Resident Evil Village. That's coming out later this year, so this could be end of the year next year. Could we be looking at January, February time? I mean, Resident Evil and Capcom games do tend to land early part of the year. Anyway, all of that considered, what are your thoughts, Bib?
I like this. It's interesting that they Revelations for me, I think, was probably the turning point to get us back on track to what Resident Evil is. Revelations 1 was all about finding key cards and doing puzzles and stuff like that. It was a great game. I never actually played it originally on the Nintendo 3DS because I didn't have one, but it was a timed release on that as well. So it doesn't surprise me that it's going to be coming potentially to the Switch first and then moved over. It did end up moving over to I didn't play it until it came over to the Xbox 360. I think maybe 18 months later, maybe 12 months. I'm not too sure. It was like way back in 2012, I think. I'm not sure. Yeah, PlayStation 4 came out in 2014, so it must have been a couple of years before that at least. But yeah, it came out on the 3DS first. It doesn't surprise me that we're going to potentially get one on the Switch first. It's nice to see Switch being a powerhouse in that respect, especially when it comes to massive IPs like this, so that's great. But yeah, I'm excited for this. Resident Evil Revelations as turning points to get us back on track. Revelations 2 was a fantastic game, and it's a game that I ended up playing on stream not long ago. After playing the Resident Evil Village demo, I jumped into that, did a little bit of raid mode. Fantastic game, brilliant co-op game if anyone ever wanted to play that one. But yeah, I'm excited to see what we're going to get from the third one. I don't know who the characters are going to be because in the first one we had Jill, second one we had your mate Barry Burton, the window fitter.
Double glazing salesman, actually, middle-aged double glazing salesman.
Yeah, and obviously Claire Redfield as well. So I'm interested to see who this potentially could be focusing on, considering we are getting Chris Redfield in Resident Evil Village as well as Ethan Winters. So is it going to be a case where Leon ends up coming back? No idea. Are they just going to make some new characters altogether? But yeah, I'm excited. This is we seem to be on a very good road with Resident Evil games at the moment. I'm very excited to play Resident Evil Village. Then what comes after that? I genuinely thought we might end up seeing another Revelations game. And yeah, this is news to my music to my ears. Albeit, I do really want a Code Veronica remake and also a new Resident Evil Outbreak.
What do you guys think? Anyone else in the chat? Would you guys like to see Revelations 3? Do you think this is legit? Then let's talk and let's forgetting the content and whether you'd like it. The article says Revelation, particularly the sequel, was considered amongst the series' best offshoots. So the idea of Revelations is good. How likely do you think it is? Do you think it's possible?
What, that we're going to get a new one?
Yeah, so obviously this is all just rumour at this point in time.
Yeah.
Is it just saying what people want? Because obviously Revelation is well respected within the community. People like the idea. Is this just rumour mill churning stories that people would want to hear, or is it a story that could be likely?
I mean, to be fair, I don't. I'm just trying to think now. The ending of the first one, did it? I don't think it actually coincided with the second one. I'm sure it's a completely different story. So it doesn't really matter what part of the timeline this fits into, if I'm being honest. So yeah, I mean, again, if they were just going to do fan service, they'd have brought Outbreak out a long time ago. So I'm not too sure. I'd love to know their timeline, but they're never going to show us something like that, unfortunately. But yeah, I think I'd love them to bring a new one out. I mean, at the moment, everything they're bringing out seems to be going gold. It seems to be a fantastic product. So, I mean, take away some aspects of Resident Evil 3. Resident Evil 3 Remake is still a very, very good game. It just missed out some things that would have elevated it to, like, Resident Evil Remake 2 is much better than the original Resident Evil, and the original Resident Evil 2 was my favorite game of all time. It just did everything a little bit better. Resident Evil 3 could have had that if they just included some things, most notably, obviously, the clock tower. We mention that all the time, but having a new Outbreak is a necessity. I think having a remake of Code Veronica nowadays is probably a necessity. But yeah, Revelations 3, if that's the path that they want to go down, I'll support that 110%, and I will still be buying this game, even if this is the one that comes out next.
On the subject of Code Veronica, it says in the article, according to Dusk Golem, noted industry leaker, second to Mr. Tassiman Via, by the way, says that as for what to expect, they said it's on the same level of Code Veronica. So is that a good thing?
Very much so. That seems to be a very open and broad question. Sorry, statement, not question. Before having asked for what to expect, they said it's on the same level of Code Veronica. Is that in terms of fan level hypeness, or the quality that they want to put out? Is it in the same time frame that they want to bring it out?
I'd assume they're talking quality of the game.
Yeah, well, they're both completely different types of games, because Code Veronica, I think, was the last one that got brought out with tank controls, whereas Revelations was over the shoulder. So in terms of that, that's, again, a very difficult thing to be able to try and work out. But in terms of quality, they're both fantastic games. So if they're just terms of quality, then yeah, I'm all down for it.
Well, Gary says, if Bibby is happy, I'm happy. If Bibby wants a new Resi, I want a new Resi.
We all thought it was downhill after Resident Evil 6, and the fact that we got to this point now where they're releasing Resident Evil games and they are absolute bangers, we couldn't be in a better place at the moment in time.
Yeah, I love seeing the positivity around it. Seeing things like just pack shots being ripped to shit because the games have dropped so badly. Changing from that giraffe blowjob case of, what was that, 6, going through to
yeah, 6, yeah.
Going through to what's the name of the tall woman that everyone is adoring at the moment from Village kind of thing. That the idea of, I want to say the widow or something like that. I don't know what her name is.
Yeah.
The maiden, the
Is that lady? I can't pronounce the surname, so I'm going to try and phonetic it out. Dimitrescu. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Dimitrescu.
Everyone knows I'm really bad at. Yeah, everyone knows I'm really, really bad at pronouncing names, so I still haven't managed to get this right.
There you go, Lady Dimitrescu. I can't say it now. So I like the fact that the game has evolved to a point where people can just be positive around stuff that's kind of irrelevant for now. So yeah, that's good. That's good. Bibby is just getting spoiled now with all these RE Resident Evil releases lately, says Luke.
I agree.
Mad says, ask the, air quotes, resident expert Bibby his thoughts on this news. We just did. Gary says, what a revelation this is. Bibby said, no, Enix says, I'll play. So there you go. You've got a partner for Revelations if it's multiplayer. So true. They've done an amazing job at giving new life to the series, says Gary. And then Dolphin, KK says, what are your thoughts on FIFA 19? Do you think it's better / worse than FIFA 21? That's a bit off topic. But thank you for the bit anyway. And thank you for the follow, as well as DW Can't Stop, Man Like Swag, Danny John 1818, and it's Millie Wilson. Thank you all for the follows through the stream. I've not been shouting those out just because they've been coming in articles and then I've been forgetting. So there you go. Thank you very much for the follows. Welcome all the new followers. If anyone else is new, lurking and lingering, please feel free to hit the follow button. We've made it free for you today only and every other day. It's fine. Get involved. Nice. Chappers. Hey. Says, look, I'm not saying I'm a Resident Evil fan. Lord knows I'm a wimp. But Lady Dimitrescu could step on me. Lady Dimitrescu could step over you. That's the thing. I mean, I don't even know how big you are, but damn.
Yeah.
Code Veronica remake first,
It's
please.
so weird though,
I'll die
like
on
how
this hill.
people are massively simping over it. Like they tried to make something as villain as Mr. X and Nemesis, but they've just gone the exact opposite. I think they know what they were doing. If I'm being brutally honest, I think they knew what they were doing. Everyone seems to be talking about it every single time you scroll through. Well, every single time I scroll through my timeline, it just seems to be people cosplaying. So I don't know if that says more about my timeline than me, but
on that bombshell, do you know what? We'll let Bibby get back to his timeline. You know, he's got things to be doing before he comes back on stream. A lot of posts to be seen. So we are going to disappear now. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for today's news. I'll give you a little bit of a wrap-up because it has been a long show. If you missed it, we covered the fact that Amazon's ambitious new MMO, New World, gets its third delay. It's now expected in August. Confirmed tonight at 10 p.m. UK time, Nintendo will hold its first full direct in nearly 18 months. That was our lead story, which we then followed up with Reggie Fils-Aime says the console wars are actually quite friendly when you get past the weapons on the front lines, and that front lines being social media because, you know, keyboard warriors and that. And then finally, Resident Evil Revelations 3 could be out within a year of Village's release, according to Dusk Golem Industry Insider. And that is the news for the day. Thank you, everyone, for joining us once again. We appreciate you all being here. Don't go too far, though, because we will be back with extra content. Some more golfing action from the grassy fields of PGA 2K, as Bibby jumps in on that. So, yeah, sadly, it is PGA, so sadly there will be no washer, dryer, tumble dryer noises in the background today. But the benefit is you get all the beauty of PGA, so there is that too. Anyway, before we do disappear and come back with golf, and I say we, I mean Bib. Bib, is there anything else you want to add before then?
Yes, again, thank you very much for each and every one of you that have joined today. If you do want to be a part of the show, there is two ways that you can do that. First of all, find us on social media as Ice Cream Outlets across all major social media platforms. Second way, get into our Discord. There's an area in there called The Scoop. All we need from you is the URL plus your thoughts and impressions. We will then give you our thoughts and impressions on the very next show, which will be at what time tomorrow, Mr. Grant?
3:30 in the afternoon. 10 a.m. Ish. Although 3:30 is probably not too far away either. So there you go. Chapper saying, I'm not shrimping, ban term now, but laugh my ass off, I have tastes. I won't gift her 50 subs to a Twitch channel, but I sure will appreciate the arts. There you go. If anyone does want to gift 50 subs to Ice Cream Uploads, don't let us stop you. I mean, you don't need to, but we're not going to fight you for it. We're not. I mean, we might do a little bit. Okay.
Listen, if someone gifts 50 subs, I will cosplay as her.
Imagine.
No, he doesn't want to see that.
That's the best 250 quid you would have spent in your life. Boom.
I will genuinely cosplay as if someone drops 50 subs on this channel.
Do you know, if we get to 250 concurrent subs, he'll do it then. I've opened him up for that one as well.
Listen, no one's opening me up.
Do you know what? This is a gaping hole that we wanted to keep away from. I'm referencing yesterday's news articles. Yeah, we're going to end things there. Nice. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for the gaping hole and all of the news that fell into it from myself and from Bib. Have yourselves a fantastic day. Bibby will be back shortly with some PGA 2K. I will see you at 10 a.m. ish in the morning. Until then, stay frosty.
Stay frosty.